Hey there, podcast enthusiasts. Are you ready to add a little sparkle to your day? If you're loving the insightful conversations and captivating stories on Mirror Talk Podcast, here's a friendly nudge to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll never miss out on the empowering messages and thought provoking discussions we bring to your ears. But wait, there's more. We're all about spreading positivity and inspiration, and you can be a part of it too. How? By sharing the love with your friends and family. Share this episode with your loved ones, and let's create a ripple effect of empowerment and growth together. And hey, if you've been enjoying what you hear, why not take a moment to leave us a glowing 5-star review? Your feedback fuels our passion to keep delivering content that resonates with you. So hit that subscribe button, share the love, and leave us a review. Let's keep the conversation going and spread the Mirror Talk magic far and wide. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, your support means the world to us.
Today's guest is a financial coach who helps remote workers organize their money to reach financial freedom faster. He's an author, a mentor, and a speaker for the past 18 years. Welcome to the show, Shlomo. How are you doing?
Toby, pleasure being here. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining me on this. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Mirror Talk. I appreciate your presence here today. Thanks so much for tuning in all the way from Israel to speak with me today about finance and everything that you do, to help people become financially free. So I would just love us to start with, learning about your life and career journey so far. Can you share your story with us?
Wow, that's a long answer. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur for the past 18 years or so. Been doing a lot of things, really failed a lot. I'd say my current occupation, what I do is, as you said, I'm doing financial coaching for remote workers to reach financial freedom faster. And I'm also a niche website investor. So I operate currently 2 websites, always looking for more to grow them and optimize them. Basically like flipping real estate. So you can also do this with websites and digital assets. And I'm very interested in this, in this topic.
That's great. That's awesome. So, how are you able to build your desired lifestyle so far? Like, I know you're nomadic, you travel a lot. You were in China for a while. Now you're back in Israel, and you work a lot, as in remotely also. How are you able to build up this lifestyle that you wanted?
So it doesn't happen in a day, of course, and some things you intend to happen, some things you don't intend to happen. But I think the major change that happened to us as a family was about, let me think, 2015, when we left China. So my wife had her job from China and worked remotely for about a year with them. And I ran the company that I built in China, but remotely in Israel. And this is the time that we saw that we can work remotely. Now, it's not that we said, oh, great, we work remotely, now we're going to do all these wonderful things. But it just happened to be that we had a chance to travel and we said, okay, why not? We can do the same thing or the same work, the same lifestyle that we have, just in a different place, even the same day schedule.
Yeah.
So we did that. We basically based in Israel. However, for 2 to 3, we travel 2 to 3 months every time. Once a year, sometimes twice a year. There was even a year like that, to another country and just live and work from there. I actually just came back from a digital nomad conference in Bansko called Bansko Nomad Fest. Just came back last Friday, and you basically see people and families having even more flexible lifestyle, just changing a place every 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. Sometimes have more of a base, but most of the time traveling. So yeah, everything is very flexible, and fluid, and we're really fortunate and thankful for having it. We are very happy with the way that we live this way.
That's awesome. Well, if I may ask, what inspired you to, want to have a flexible lifestyle where you could travel and work at the same time and pick your kids along with you and just, move around the world and still work at the same time? Is there like a motivation behind it or?
The motivation?
Yes.
So we like to travel. Uh, let's say knowing different places. When we're going to a new place,
Mm,
we don't want to feel like tourists, so we don't have this check mark. So going to the Eiffel Tower or going to the Statue of Liberty.
mm,
I can't say that we are avoiding these places completely, but it's definitely not on our top list. And sometimes we just skip those, and that's totally fine. We basically love to meet the locals, see where people live, local restaurants, local friends that we find and meet along the way. Just getting to know how people live there. Of course, I'm never going to be a local at the place that I'm living for several months, but it's still something that you can at least get a glimpse of, and not uh, be there for a few days, go to the touristy places. You didn't really see the place. You've seen kind of a show that country is giving you with
yeah.
these few touristic places or cities that you've seen.
That's very true. And how do you combine all of this with homeschooling? I believe you homeschool your two daughters, and maybe the third one is coming also on the way. How do you combine this lifestyle with homeschooling and the kids together? And yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, our older one is going to first grade next year, but she was never in kindergarten, and the second one is only 1 year old, so it's debatable if you should call it homeschooling. Still, they're with us throughout the day. We split our time between me and my wife about half and half, where um, she's working either morning or afternoon, and I'm the other way, and the other parent is with the kids, and we either stay at home or going to different activities with the other homeschooling families, the homeschooling community in our area, or if we live or go somewhere, then on that place. Our last trip, as example, we were for a month in a town in south of Spain called La Herradura, and there is a homeschooling community there. So it was very nice to meet the other families there and be part of that. And it's well organized. They have WhatsApp groups for the meetings and for hiking and for different things that you need. It's really well done. So these kind of places is where you meet families from all around the world, and they're all, or many of them, homeschooling. About 3 months ago, I was only with my daughter, but that was a very short trip, just for a 1 week skiing trip in Bansko, which I mentioned a few minutes ago. And there is a program that is run there for something called World Schooling for about 3-4 months every winter. And again, these are families traveling and meeting there, and there is a program for the kids along with the parents. The parents can join some of the activities or not join, but there is always kind of getting to know the community and getting to know other people, and that's very interesting and fun thing to do.
I believe that. I mean, it exposes you to the world. It makes you broaden your horizon. You get to know more people, and you get to experience life basically from different perspectives and different cultures. That's awesome. That's really beautiful. So if we look at the financial part of it, how do we then place our finance also in place whenever we are traveling a lot, especially when we're traveling a lot? Like, how do you organize that in terms of finance? Like, how do you get to save money and still travel the way you want to travel and be nomadic?
So actually, traveling long term is many times cheaper than staying in one place. Therefore, it's sometimes more sustainable. Yes, you need to plan. Yes, you need to know what you're doing, but it's definitely doable, and you're learning along the way. Because when you are traveling, let's say for 3 months, and you're buying a flight ticket, it's the same price, or roughly the same price, if you're taking it for a week or for 3 months. While you're doing these 3 months, you're getting apartment for 3 months, which is cheaper than getting a hotel for a week. So everything is basically long term. You can also rent out your place, meaning that you're covering some or even all of the costs of your trip just because you moved to another place for a longer term. So basically, you're getting better deals. You meet local people, you're going to local restaurants, everything is just cheaper. So it's more sustainable and, as I mentioned, much more interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing that I admire about you is that you have this company which you started called Free Financial Self, where you help
Yes.
people to become financially free or to gain their financial freedom. So that's one thing I want to learn from you today. Like, how can you teach us, or how can we, organize our money to reach financial freedom faster, especially when we are traveling a lot, when we are remote, when we are, yes, or that.
Sure. So here's the thing. There is a roadmap that I really talk about it in many of my public speaking talks. I work on it with my clients. This is kind of the basis of how to get there. And think of it as a 4-step journey where, let's say 5-step, where the last step is financial freedom. Now, financial freedom is different for each person in the world of how it is in their mind, whatever that is. So the first step on that roadmap is designing your future lifestyle, really understanding what are the things that you want to get to long term personally. So being very clear about it. The importance with this is that when you are very clear about it, you're going 20, 30 years ahead. Then you are able to reverse engineer what you are, basically the finances of what you need to do today to reach that, to reach all these goals. So this is step number 1. Step number 2 is what sometimes people lacking is financial knowledge. So upgrading financial knowledge. And I'm not talking about having a master's degree in economics, not at all. It's a few basic rules or basic terms in finances that you need to know in order to work with money. So I'm talking about net worth, I'm talking about cash flow, I'm talking about understanding compound interest, I'm talking about net worth goal, I'm talking about sometimes when to take a loan or when not to take a loan, so when to use leverage, things like that. All these things are not rocket science. They're very easy to learn and understand, but they are the fundamentals for your finances. This is the second step, upgrading your financial knowledge. Then the third step is control your numbers. You need to really track all these numbers, all these terms that I mentioned. So you need to know what's your net worth. You need to know your cash flow. You need to know what was the change of your net worth from last month. I do and publish on my website every month how much my net worth has gone up or down, and I'm analyzing what worked, what didn't work. What that enables me is, by this tracking, is seeing the trend, if I'm doing something right, if I'm doing something wrong, and what I need to improve or change. So this is how I am controlling my numbers, and this is what I'm teaching my clients how to do. So once you have you have the financial knowledge in step number 2, you're controlling your numbers in step number 3. This is basically not only the knowledge, but doing things. Okay, we can learn theory all day long, but if you're not going to do the work, then it's not really going to help us. And
that's
the
very
last
true.
step, is planning, meaning have a step-by-step plan, understanding what you need to do to reach any of your goals that you had on step number 1, but taking into account your financial knowledge on step number 2 and the numbers that you have on step number 3. So my people I work with are coming out of my program with a plan for 20, 30 years ahead, when they know today what they need to do every day, every month, to save, how much they need to save and invest, and in what return, to reach their personal life goals. And that is basically financial freedom once you define those, just whatever that is for you.
Thank you so much for sharing
That's the
that.
process.
Yeah, I would love to also go to the second point where you talked about knowledge. Like, what's the best way of gaining knowledge about? I know we could visit your YouTube page, for example, and watch some videos and get some knowledge. But are there some sources of gaining knowledge that we could make use of in order to know all of this? What is leverage? What is bad debt? What is debt? What is this? What is that? Like, are there like some sources you could recommend to us?
Listen, there are sources, there are really gazillions of sources, okay? And I don't have any particular one to recommend. However, what I do recommend is what not to listen to. Okay?
All right, that's good too. Yeah.
And these are news websites or financial news websites, as example. All these media, their job is getting headlines, and there is creating a lot of noise. Really, that's step number 2 of what you need to do. Are the very basic things, does not take long to learn, and they're really not that complicated. You don't need a master's degree in economics, and it's really easy. So when you are thinking of, oh, I'm reading this article in the newspaper and they're talking about this stock, and you should invest, or you should sell it, or you should buy it, or whatever, that's a lot of noise, really a lot of noise. There are some fundamentals that you can work with and get 80% of the results for 20% of the knowledge. You can really get pretty good with basic knowledge.
Good, yeah. And when we talk about, planning, now we've gained the knowledge, we have the right sources, we've gained that knowledge already, and now we're trying to plan. Like, can you, Shlomo, can you teach us like a way we can create a system of, tracking the numbers, of planning long term, and also staying consistent with this also, it's a thing to start today and do it for some months and then stop. But it's
no.
It pays better when we do it for the rest of our lives, basically, to gain that financial freedom. So is there a way we can build up a system of tracking these numbers and making futuristic plans or long-term terms and plans, and at the same time stay consistent with it?
Of course. So when I work with clients, they come up, I set this plan. It's basically a spreadsheet with all their life goals, understanding how much money they need at what time, and when they think this expense will happen in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and what they need to invest in what return. And they would know how much money they need to put every month or every year into that goal. So everything is on track. Once you do that, you can start thinking about, oh, okay, so I need $1,000 a month for, I don't know, my child's wedding as example. Okay, let's say that. I have clients who their child was not born yet. They're still planning for that. That's very good. So let's say you need that $1,000, and you have let's say 3 more goals where all of them are another 4,000. So total of $5,000 that you need beyond your cash flow. Sorry, your cash flow needs to be beyond your expenses. $5,000. Now, if you don't have that 5,000 every month to put in these assets, those 4 or 5 goals I mentioned, it means that you're just not going to get to them. Very simple. You can really see that. And then you can start to prioritize. Okay, maybe it's really not that important for me. Goal B. Okay, maybe I can just get rid of it, or maybe I can just postpone it in a few years. And goal C is much more important for me. So this whole prioritizing and thought process is also part of the planning stage. And you can really clearly see if I track and go for goals A, B, and C, then I will probably cannot have D and F. And you make a decision. Is this really, D and F are really important for me, or they're not important? and you're coming from a viewpoint of, okay, I made a decision, this is how I'm going to do, and you're feeling much more, let's say, zen feeling of clarity. I know where I'm going, I know what my priorities are, I know how my finances will do towards these goals, and you'll get to these goals just because you track and being consistent about that. Sorry, that was a long answer for your question.
No, that was good. Yeah, that was very good. That means, I mean, we have to set priorities basically. Okay, this is how much I have. This is my reality. Then I have to look at my list or my goals to say, okay, this is what is more important. This is what I'm going to invest into or put my money into. And then when I get more money, I could put into other ones also.
Sometimes, sometimes people have other interesting things. They see that actually for all the goals that they want in life, they really have enough now. They can really quit. That happens too. Or they can say, maybe I just need to work 5 more years and that's it. And then I have enough for everything I need. It's not money, investment in money for the sake of making money. It's for the sake of reaching your life goals and things that will make you happy. Once you've got those, do whatever you want next. But you know that, you don't guess that.
That's true. And that's, it's relative to everyone. Like our goals are, tailored to what we want from out of life, basically what we want to achieve in life. Yeah. And that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're talking about investments now. I know your other company, apps in China, and you also, when you're in China, you invested in a lot, or you also invest a lot in bitcoins and other ventures out there. So from your expertise and from your knowledge, I would love you to teach us how we could invest properly and how to recognize a good investment opportunity when it comes our way.
Wow, I have a really bad answer for you on this. You know why?
Why?
I have a whole talk about this, how to know what to invest in. And the answer is that it's so individual to your life and your priorities that you cannot recommend something. I cannot tell you, Google is the best thing that you can invest in, because I don't know you. Okay, so giving an advice on what to invest in is basically no advice, because it's not tailored to a specific person. The whole process that I mentioned, this roadmap, is to answer that question. And you have to go through that process, in my opinion, to be able to answer that. Because if you don't have if you didn't decide on your goals, when they are, how much you need, then how would you know what to do with your money? You need to do that first. Again, it's not money for the sake of making money. It's for making you a happier person and reaching your life goals, your personal life goals. So every person is different. We have different amounts of money. We have different risk tolerance. We're different ages. We have different access to different investments because of our nationalities and knowledge and experience. So it's very, very individual, I'll say.
Yes. But if you were to make it broad, for example, I mean, your own opinion, like what are some good investment opportunities out there today? Like in your own opinion, in Shlomo's opinion, like these are things I would invest my money in.
So if you're talking about the simplest one, and I didn't invent this or anything, it would be long-term investments doing on American ETFs that will make 7 to 10% on average a year when you're going long-term. So I'm talking 15 plus years or more. That's what you'll make. Okay, very easy to do. No need for a fund manager or any of that. It's just buying the ETF every month or every year and go with it. That's the basis. Of course, you need to go through the ups and downs of the market, but you need to be consistent and you need to be there, and you'll get to that. This is we have 100 years of statistics on this. It doesn't mean that what will happen in the past will happen in the future, but it's more likely to happen statistically. So I can't guarantee here, of course, anything. I personally love digital assets, so investing in websites and operating them. I really enjoy the process of finding those websites, understanding how to grow them. So this is my personal preference, but of course it doesn't fit every person.
Because I love that. I love that disclaimer that you are putting there. Like, this is mine. You could try it out,
No,
but I mean,
no.
it's still up to
The thing is
you.
this. Yes, I have a workshop where I teach that. Yes, I love to talk about this, but it's not like you know right away what to do. It also depends
Mm,
on which niche. So
yeah.
I'm always in favor of people finding something that they love and then do it and make money from it. So this is a way of maybe buying a website that's already operating and making money, and then improving it, or maybe operating it for a longer term and make a living out of it. I personally hold two websites that are not in niches that I like, but I still enjoy operating them. But of course, if I see niches that I like or things that interest me, then of course I look more carefully at those opportunities out there. So yeah, find maybe a niche that you like that will definitely help you operate it right. But there is a lot. There is a learning curve here of what you need to do. The returns are good. Websites now are uh, bought at around a monthly multiplier of around 36 to 48. So the return is between on your investment is between 3 to 4 years. So it's quite fast, but you need to invest some of the money back in the business. So it depends what size of business you buy, what are your skills. But of course, except of this cash flow of 30-ish% a year, there's also you hope to grow the website and then it's worth more and then you sell it at a profit, of course.
Yeah, I'll look into that also. Websites.
Sure.
That's
There are a
awesome.
lot of
Yeah.
marketplaces out there. There are a lot of ways to buy websites these days.
Mm. Oh, that's good. Yes. So, Shlomo, we all plan, or we all wish to. Don't let me generalize it. We want to. I, for example, want to live a long life, and then retire peacefully and have that financial freedom, in my retirement age. So what can I do from right now in my life in order to work towards that goal of, retiring with financial freedom and no care or no worries about money?
So you really need to know where you are going and start tracking your finances today. Right after this show, I even prepared something for your listeners to download and to start tracking their net worth. So I can give the URL either now or at the end. But it's the main thing is using the tool, either what I will give you or any other spreadsheet out there, and do it now, because to be honest, people don't like to deal with their money. It's most of the time not that urgent to start planning on thinking about those things, and the word tomorrow is very common in this case. So get a hold of yourself and really start thinking about those things and go through the roadmap I presented, so you can reach your life goals. You might get there by accident of all the things that you want for yourself, but if you plan ahead, you increase your chances.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks so much for sharing that. And one of my goals is also to, and maybe not mine only, a lot of listeners out there too, they want to, start a company and run a company and, continue running this company successfully, even to their retirement age also. So from your experience of, starting Free Financial Self and app in China, what do we need to know and what do we need to learn in order to run a company and start a company successfully?
So some of the things you intend to happen, some of the things you don't intend to happen. You need to be very consistent. These two companies that you mentioned are just two out of many companies and work and projects that I've worked on. Once something fails, it's not the end of the world. You basically made progress towards your next goal and made progress towards something else. So it's not about sitting and whining that something is failed. It's about get a grip of yourself and say, okay, this is what I've learned. I keep going for the next thing. I'm sure it's not the first time that you've heard it, but it's really true. It's really true. You just keep going with the opportunities or things that interest you, and you keep learning and improving. Even with the simple example of the website investing that I've done, now that I'm almost 2 years into this, I bought my first website on December 2020. I know much more now on what to look, what questions to answer, to ask the sellers, and things that are more interesting for me as a buyer. But I didn't know that when buying the first website, although I did do about 4 months of research until I bought, or maybe even 5 months until I bought the first one. So, and that's okay. The next website will probably be cheaper for me to buy with more opportunities, and I can just do it better.
Yeah.
You always get better.
I love that. Yeah, you always get better. You learn from mistakes, pick yourself up, and just keep on moving, keep on improving, and that way you grow and you run things successfully well. And if it's not successful, you learn from the.
I don't want to say that it's all rainbows and unicorns. It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
But it's really part of the process. It's really part of the process. I'd say if somebody's looking to open a business, don't, unless you really hate your job, don't quit your job. Start it as a side hustle. Understand the clients. See what's your minimum viable product or the minimum product that they be able to that they want to pay for. What are their pain points, and make sure you build that for them, and then reiterate. There is a wonderful community on Twitter that I'm part of called Build in Public. If you look for this hashtag, either Build in Public or Building in Public, you'll find wonderful people building different projects in public. They're sharing what they did, they're sharing how much money they make, they're sharing their failures, they're sharing everything. But this way, they are also understanding more of their audience, and they're attracting the right people for their business. So by being authentic and open, they're doing much good for their business, basically. So yeah, follow that. You can learn a lot.
Thank you so much for that insight. So that's it. That's good. So what's going to be your best financial advice for remote workers? Because I know you focus a lot on remote workers currently. What's going to be your best financial advice for them?
So although remote workers are very unstable on where they are in the world and they travel a lot,
yeah,
I'd say the best advice is really thinking long term about their goals and seeing how they incorporate that with their finances. So even if you don't know where you're going to be next year or next month, try to think about that and maybe say, okay, this is roughly going to cost me this amount of money every year. So you need to prepare for this. And then the next year, another one. But today, think about year number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15, 20. And I know that there is inflation and I know that things change, but at least you have a frame to work with instead of just guessing. So you see if you really can make ends meet.
And when we face difficulties, basically like from traveling for remote workers, for example, like traveling different cultures, different languages, how do you overcome all of these challenges that comes with changing environment, with also money and banks also, and different different things that you have to handle or deal with because you are traveling or you're moving from one place to another?
First of all, I'm pretty used to that, and I really love the process of discovering how to handle things in a new country. I really like the process of going for the first time out of the Airbnb or hotel or whatever we rented, maybe just for a few days. Where's the supermarket? Where we go buy coffee? Where's the co-working space? Where we can see new things. All this process I really like. In terms of handling with money, there are several apps or virtual wallets that you can use for exchanging money. One of them is Revolut that you can use. It's very easy to exchange money there at wonderful rates, and it holds, I don't know, 30, 40 currencies. And so yeah, basically you can use that. And there are other options out there, but it really depends on your nationality and residency. So it's also very, very individual. If you want to be very flexible, hold Bitcoin and then you can buy with anything. You can do that. Yes, it's not popular for about 2 months now, but still, that's also a good solution. You sometimes meet people who just use Bitcoin and then they have any currency, and there are Bitcoin cards and things like that. So that's another solution.
Okay. And that means it's not going to be a big hustle or struggle to handle our money when traveling and dealing with all of that logistics, basically.
So some people, I'm very minimalist. I like to carry one small bag, and that's it. If just now I traveled for 2 weeks, I had one small backpack. That's it. So this is not a hassle. I actually like that feeling that I'm very light. In terms of money, I've seen people really, again, because each person has access to different solutions, they find their own solutions. And sometimes people just pay the commissions or whatever of the credit card company. In Israel, it can be 1 to 3%, one up to 3% for buying things abroad. That's rather expensive, but they still do that. But there are other better solutions. There are now free credit cards or debit cards, so that kind of solves some of the problem. Each one has their own pros and cons, so it's hard to give a specific solution for everybody, of course.
Shlomo, I've learned so much from you about financial freedom, also relating to remote workers, and I've learned so much, just from basically your story or your life, also, homeschooling and traveling and all of that. That's so wonderful what you do, and so wonderful that you are also, through your courses, through your services, teaching everybody out there how to become financially free. If you could just describe a little bit about, your books and your services that you offer to the listeners, can you tell us what you do currently? Services that you offer.
So I offer a few services. The major one that I do is a one-on-one program with my clients. And this can last from 2 weeks up to 1 year, it depends on the length, where I go with people and train them and coach them on the roadmap that I mentioned. So this is one. Other options are an online course that I have about, again, talking about this roadmap, but this is self-paced with videos, so you can go through that. And I also have a monthly financial coaching group, and this one is called the Free Financials, where the goal is to increase your net worth by at least 1% every month. So we go all the members of what you did this month to increase what worked, what didn't work. I also share some of basically what I've been through and worked on throughout the month on the niche website, on my finances, very openly, so people can learn and understand. And this is an ongoing monthly meeting and a Facebook group and the community. So yeah, these three. I'm currently working on also on the cohort workshops, but they are not launched yet. So except of those, I also do public speaking, like I've done in Bansko Nomads Fest about 10 days ago. and online also. So yeah, all these.
Yeah, you offer a lot of services to the world, and it's wonderful that we can find all of this on your website. I'm going to place a link to your website in the show note of this episode. So I encourage everyone to just click on the website, browse through it, and connect also with Shlomo and find out how Shlomo could help you become much more financially free in your life. So
Thank you,
apart from your
Toby.
website, what's the best way to connect with you and work with you?
So first of all, I have the tool that I created, and you can find it at freefinancialself.com/mirror. So MIRROR. You can get that there. That's especially for your listeners. So you can download that tool and really start tracking your finances as it should be. So this is a cash flow and net worth. You just need to do this. I do this every month. You can see this on my website. You can get in touch with me through freefinancialself.com. You can find me on Twitter at Freund Shlomo, LinkedIn, my name, Free Financial Self on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel called Free Financial Self. Facebook, my name, or Free Financial Self. All those, I'm on all of them. You can really happy to talk to you.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with you. And
thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for everything you taught us. You made us much more enlightened about financial freedom. That's so great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toby. It's been a pleasure.